The modern GT car comes in a variety of shape sizes. Front-engined, rear-engined, mid-engined, rear-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. But what's the best? What's fastest? Well, we can all read the 0 to 60 times and the top speed claims. But what's quickest overall? Not only in a straight line, but round the corners as well. We took this group of GTs to the Pembrey circuit to find out. If you had to guess at the outcome, the safest bet would be to pick the car with the best power to weight ratio. A simple calculation: the more horsepower per tonne, the faster the car should be. A Grand Prix car has about 1,500 horsepower per tonne. A 1.6 Mondeo has just 74, while our little group average around the 200 mark, ranging from the brutish Chevrolet Corvette with 230 down through the Porsche 911 and Honda NSX to the heavyweight Nissan Skyline, which in standard trim has only 182. But let's start with the nimble little Honda. This 1.5 mile Pembrey circuit has got just about every type of corner, from high speed to this very tight hairpin, where the Honda just powers in and then, whoa, a bit of oversteer. The Grand Prix car will go around here in about 40 seconds. I think we'll take a bit longer. In fact, it took an extra 30 seconds, but that's still an average of around 80 miles an hour. With 276 horsepower from its 3.2-litre V6, the Honda is the least powerful of the group, but it's second lightest and produces 196 horsepower per tonne. This NSX has been quite a handful. Despite having the mid-engine ideal layout, it's still obviously very much rear-biased in weight, and it is a very tail-happy machine. Glorious to drive, but you've got to have your arms ready to catch the slides into this second gear corner. That wonderful VTEC. What I was about to say was that the VTEC variable valve timing system provides a really solid power band right from when it chimes in at 4,800 revs all the way to its 8,300 limit. But try to show off too much, push the Honda too hard, and you're likely to find yourself looking at where you've just been. All right, enough of the ballet. On then to this wild child, the awesome Nissan Skyline. Its twin-turbo 2.6-litre straight-six engine will deliver anything from 280 horsepower with its standard computer chip to 550 if you want to spend an extra 12 grand, or even 1,000 horsepower if you just want to go down a drag strip. But it's the heaviest of our group, hence the poor power-to-weight ratio. Now, in actual fact, the Skyline is most of the time rear-wheel drive only, until it feels you need a bit of help. Which is why sometimes, when you get in a bit sideways, it sort of sorts it out for you. And there's a little gauge down there which you can hardly ever see, which normally reads 0 when it's 100% torque to the rear wheels. But when you get into a little bit of trouble going into a corner, it transfers torque to the front wheels and the gauge flicks up. Oh, now I'm in trouble, I need some help. Thank you, transmission. You took that corner very nicely. But you certainly notice the slight turbo lag. There isn't that instant push of power that's especially noticed, of course, in the Honda with that VTEC. However hard I tried, the Skyline seemed ready and willing to pull me out of trouble. Hugely confidence-inspiring, and with brakes to match its handling, this is an almost foolproof machine. On then to the Porsche. The 911, the car with the most famous engine hanging right out the back that always had such a reputation for being a tail-happy car. Once the rear end broke away, you'd never get it back. But over the years, it's been refined and refined until now, this latest version, you'd hardly know the engine was right out the back. However, by pushing the car into the corner, it is possible to get the rear to move, and to really get a good lap time out of this Porsche, you need to just get that back to break away and then floor the throttle. If you go in with understeer, you'll come out with even more understeer. Oh. But if you try to give it a little bit of a flick, get the back out and a bit over the top perhaps, but I hope you get the idea. The 911 is the lightest of the group, and with 300 horsepower from its 3.4 litre flat six, has 226 bhp per tonne. But whilst many complain that Porsche have spoilt the old characteristics, I just find the 911 gets better and better and better. Cut. On then to 5.7 litres of American V8 muscle, 339 horsepower and a tad lighter than the Skyline. This Detroit dream should be the quickest. Now I have to own up, I've never been a big fan of American cars. Great in a straight line, but highly suspect when it comes to any corners. But everybody's raving about this new Vet, and certainly I'm quite impressed so far. Unfortunately, like most of them being imported now, it's only got this automatic gearbox, which is bound to handicap it somewhat. But there is a fair degree of grip. It has admittedly got more rubber on the road than any of the opposition, but its main handicap is its steering. This 100-mile-an-hour kink flat out in the other cars definitely needs a confidence lift. And it's the feedback through the steering that lets the Corvette down. I only really know the Corvette's going to step out of line when it does so through the seat of my pants. But good lap times don't just come from basic grip. You need handling that gives you the confidence to take a car right to its limit, and that is something the Vet sadly fails to deliver. The combination of slightly vague steering and less sophisticated suspension damping handicaps its cornering potential. So, did the Detroit muscle win the day? Well, sadly not. Handicapped by that automatic transmission and still below par handling, it was nearly 4 seconds a lap slower than the opposition, which were covered by just 0.2 of a second. Despite its relative lack of power, the little Honda NSX nearly made it, thanks more to the characteristics of that VTEC engine than its still rather wayward handling. The Skyline GTR was nearly the winner. It was without doubt the safest and easiest car to drive right to the limit. But our winner, the Porsche 911, which suits me fine because, as far as I'm concerned, it's got the most stylish exterior, the most stunning interior, and the best feel-good factor of this little group. So, it would have been my choice anyway.